Now, what makes a design outstanding? Well, the Design Center of the Philippines is recognizing design works that aims to address social problems in order to enrich the quality of human life. And to tell us more about the Good Design Award Philippines, we have in the studio Rhea Matute, who is the Executive Director of the Design Center of the Philippines, and Rafael Dionisio, who is the co-founder of Mad Travel. So, good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you so much for sharing your morning with us here on New Day. And I'm sure you have exciting news for all of our televiewers this morning. As we understand, the Good Design Award Philippines aims to promote designs as a key tool in developing and providing solutions to social challenges. I mean, it sounds really so difficult. So tell us more about this national biennial recognition that you have.
Well, this is the inaugural edition of the Good Design Award Philippines. Since there are quite a few design awards in the Philippines as well as globally, we wanted to make sure that we're not overlapping with other design awards. Also, we wanted to find out, we wanted to discover what makes design from the Philippines different and what makes it Filipino. So when we were trying to figure out, what space can Design Center actually come in and really promote the value of design, and it's really about problem solving, but really what it's also about in the Philippine context, it's really about addressing social issues. So we really defined it as, well, innovation, form, function, which are the traditional parameters of good design, but we also wanted to add that Filipino character, and so we added malasakit as the fourth criteria for good design, and we equated malasakit with compassion and the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations.
And you mentioned earlier something about social issues. What are the social issues that you hope that these designers would come to address?
Well, one of the criteria is also about system. So system design, service design. So it's also could be education, it also environment, sustainability is a big issue, as well as access. I mean, access to basic necessities. So how can design provide that solution to bring these necessities to, I guess, unserved audience or unserved communities all around the Philippines? And actually, whatever works in the Philippines could also be applied to solutions outside of the Philippine borders.
Okay, and speaking of outside the Philippine borders, that's when you come into play. So explain your experience. I mean, you joined something similar to this, but in Japan?
No, it was held here.
Oh, it was held here.
And but DTI brought in the Japanese board to do the judging.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were looking for innovative designs, and the program that we entered called Tribes and Treks, it's done by Mad Travel in partnership with Circle Hostel in San Felipe, Zambales. The goal is to provide access to the ITAs for regular livelihood. They're 20+ years removed from Mount Pinatubo, still no regular jobs. So we built a cultural tour, but we tried to push it one step further and said, we will also use the tour to help rebuild their 3,000-hectare rainforest and build a 100-hectare fruit forest where guests get to spend 3 hours helping do that while the ITAs educate them on the environment. And there's also, of course, a deep cultural context. And I think what's exciting is, how farm to table is interesting now. The ITAs don't have the ability to feed themselves 100% yet, but every trip we have, we bring seeds. And slowly we're building farm to table and very soon forest to table as well.
It's also nice interaction because it really makes a difference once you get up close and personal. It just adds another level or a whole new dimension to all that is actually taking place, or why you're actually doing this, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's a new kind of program or service, and I think it also reflects the mood of the times, like what Gen Y and Gen Z are very interested in. I mean, people now are aware of the inequalities economically, but they're also aware of climate change, and these are relevant issues to the population today.
Okay, so now we'd like to find out also about the screening process, the mechanics for choosing a nice design. Are there how many can actually enter? I mean, what are your parameters when it comes to this?
There are no limits to the number of entries, and the application is open until 15th of August, midnight, 11:59, August 15th.
Midnight.
I mean, because we're open, I mean, even if you're an international designer, but working with a Philippine company or created a solution for a Philippine company, then we're open to that. And it's really like on the aspect of object making, which is primary furniture, fashion accessories, mobility, and then we have placemaking, so it's architecture, interior design, urban planning. And then we're also open to image making, so that's branding, communication design, as well as service and system design. So it's actually a very broad scope of
Do
design.
you have them segregated in certain categories?
Yes, we do. So we have the awarding categories are like, we have the Good Design Award, which is red, which is the basic, I guess, the award. And then we have, for each category, we'll be picking the highest of like from the object to the place to the image and then the service. Then we have the gold category. Then we also have a green, Good Design Award Green, which is really about the ecology and sustainability. And then we have a Grand Prix, which is really, you know, the highest expression of our four categories, which is innovation, form, function, and malasakit. So it's really also about primarily pushing the compassionate side of design.
Yes,
good
it's
design.
interesting that you decided, I mean, you added that malasakit. I mean, for all the Filipino values that we hold dear to us,
Yes.
it was malasakit that you chose
Yes.
to highlight.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like, you know, it's really, I mean, we wanted to make sure that every designer understand that we do have a very big responsibility in the world today, and especially like, you know, as, you know, the inequality in all over the world, especially also in the Philippines, it gets wider and wider. So how do we use this amazing talent that the designers have, and how do we bridge that gap? So that's why really compassion, and it is very Filipino.
Yes, an amazing talent indeed. I mean, a lot of Filipinos are really talented and gifted. Now, the awards night happens on September 20, and entries may be submitted, as you said, until August 15.
Yes, 11:59.
11:59, and of course, we encourage everybody to participate. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Raf?
Yeah, something?
Sure.
I mean, for those who are interested to join, I mean, one of the big benefits of it is really like the award opened doors for us in Japan. I'll give you a very quick example. We have a girl from Japan who decided to forgo a career in Japan and you know, work with us, despite her family, her teacher saying, no, don't work for a Filipino company because, you know, it's a different culture. And of course, it was the award that made everyone in her community say, okay, go and work for them. And it, you know, it makes that easy. And it's opened doors for us to the Japanese market.
Of course, I mean, because then you'd have the access to all the
Yes.
different...
Yeah, so very useful award to have.
Well, congratulations to you, and we hope we have many more like you. And thank you so much
Thank you.
for bringing this to light. That was Rhea Matute, who is the Executive Director of Design Center of the Philippines, and Rafael Junicio, who is the co-founder of Mad Travel. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.